Hey, it's Ken with Ken's Small Church Tech here again, and once again I'm here at church, and I am going to give you a little bit more detail on a couple of the items that the K600N from Fomako has really impressed me with. So these are things that I haven't seen on other cameras yet. They may be there, just not any that I've used, and so I want to share these with you. The user manual doesn't cover them very well, and that's the other reason I want to share with you. I had to get with Ivan a little bit from Fomako. He is fantastic. Comes back to you in a day or two. And so right now, I'm going to switch you over to the web interface for the K600. I also got a couple of other web interfaces up right now. One is for the K600N, which is my FoMaKo PTZ controller, and my Zowie box. Because I have an A10 Mini Extreme, for me to get NDI into the A10 Mini Extreme, I have to go through a decoder, NDI from the camera to the Zowie box into the HDMI on the A10 Mini Extreme. It works great. I got those up here also. You get to these interfaces the same way on all these items. You type in the IP address for the particular item, whether it's a camera or whether it's a controller or the Zowie box. If they're connected to the same network, you can bring that up. You come up their interface. I am in the Fomako K600 web interface, and this is what it looks like in a normal setup. Now I will tell you that my normal setup on this computer is to bring in the display at 150%, or to look at the display settings as at 150%. Because I use it at 150% so I can see it clearly on the screen here, what happens is I need it to be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller picture so I get more on it. So this is what I'm talking about. When I'm at 150%, I get a video, or I get a look of this right here, where I have very little area to work with for the AI tracking. If I go to the dashboard, you can see my presets are little tiny presets, and there should be some buttons over here for me to select, and there are not. So this is pretty much impossible for me to use. The other thing is I get one menu here, and there's actually two menus, usually sitting side by side, that you can switch between, that you do need to have also. So this is a problem also. So if you run into this problem, I just simply go back to the display settings, change this to 100%. It makes it harder for me to see the screen directly, but it makes it much easier for me to read what's going on here. So here's all my preset. Here's my recall and set buttons for those presets. If I go to AI tracking, here's my two menus. So here's the monocular menu, just monocular tracking menu, and then advanced settings has a couple things on here that I want to show you too. So first of all, presets. Going back to the dashboard, the presets are really nicely placed in here to switch from one preset to another. You just simply click on the preset, hit recall, and it moves it. So this is another way for you to control this. So if you have another computer or an iPad and you're on the screen, or you're on the same network, you can use that screen to control presets. Somebody else can do that. So you don't have to have everybody sitting in one spot to do that on the controller, for instance. Okay, so you can do that all here. In the tracking side, some of the things that you're going to want to do here, you can change where your body position is when you're doing a tracking. So it'll automatically make sure that basically your head is how far below the top of the picture. So right now the head space is at 8/10, and so if I bring this back to, I can do this on here, bring this back to preset 9, recall. It brings it back to me right here. Now you can see that my head, because the preset has the camera down a little bit, now if I start my tracking and I go to, if I start my tracking here, I can either do it here or I can do it on my, so I'm going to do it here. And now you can see that my head space is down a little bit from the top of the picture, exactly like it's supposed to be. And you can see this red box or yellow box around me while you're in this mode. You can also see it in the NDI mode. Here's the NDI mode. So this is coming through NDI, and you can also see the yellow box here. And then if I switch to HDMI mode and coming through just HDMI, you can see it's gone, which is really a neat concept. You can have it, you can be tracking it. Somebody can be tracking that you have the right person in the box. And they can select other people if there's more than one person on here. But if you want to have that off because you want the NDI to be clear, so this is again back in the NDI. Let me actually go back to here, and you can see the box is there also. And what you can do here is go over to the advanced settings and turn off the human frame, which turns off the frame right there. And then now that is gone in everything. So you can't see the frame. The tracking is still happening, but it's now clean NDI coming through as opposed to having that frame on there. So just something that I discovered kind of the hard way. The other thing that I noticed is this right here, the start position for tracking. Right now it's in current position. So if I turn the tracking off, and what I'm doing is I'm using my camera controller to turn the tracking on and off as opposed to always switching it on and off here. So if I turn off the tracking, okay, you can see that it's not tracking me right now. If I turn it back on and it's in current position, it's going to stay right here. But if I move this to like home, for instance, and change that to home, and then I turn the tracking on, it's going to move the camera slowly till it gets back to the home position. And then if I'm there, let's see if it picks me up. Yes, it does. So once you move into it, then it will pick you up. So this is something that I would probably do for tracking Pastor. I might set up that ahead of time. I hit the tracking, it automatically goes to where I know he's going to be, and as soon as he walks into the picture, it picks him up and everything is now following him. Since I don't do things quite that way, I'm going to put this back to current position so that the next time when I turn this off, it will stay right where it's at, and then when I turn it back on, it will start right there. So you can put it into a position and then hit the tracking on, and it will start right where you're at, as opposed to starting from a preset or a home position. So there's a couple of different things that I discovered about the tracking. Works pretty good. You can set how high you want your head to be from the ceiling. Again, by coming here to let's see, the monocular tracking, and you can set the head space. Let me put this at 5/10 or at the halfway point, and you can see how I'm suddenly now moving down on the screen so that I'm right in the middle. The top of my head is right in the middle at the 50% mark on the entire screen. So middle side to side, middle top to bottom. If I go up to 9/10, let's go up to 8/10, which is where it was. You notice it moves me up on the screen so that I'm now about 8/10 away, through the screen. So I got 2/10 to the top. So that's something you can do too. The sensitivity's there. Body position, you can do close-up like I'm at now. If you go to half, it's going to show half, and you can cut off my legs. So that's kind of neat also. So it allows you to choose what it is that you want it to do. Now, not all the cameras had those options, so this is really a great way to do it. I really like it that way. I can choose whether I want it to be a close-up or whether I want it to be farther back. It's not whatever the camera feels or whatever was programmed in on the camera. All right, so we're talking about the camera again. So one of the other things that I noticed on here was a USB port on the back that says USB record or USB REC. It's exactly what it means. It's a place where you can record video directly onto a flash drive or an SSD, flash drive or thumb drive or U drive, whatever you want to call it. Can be plugged into their USB-A, and it works really well with just a simple little flash drive. The one thing that I discovered was it doesn't work. Well, for me, the only way I can get it to record anything is in exFAT. So make sure you format the flash drive or the SSD in exFAT. That way it will actually record on there. The other thing is that you have to be in the dashboard mode. What you'll find is if you have a thumb drive or something plugged in there, it will give you the ability to do a recording. So let me plug in a flash drive and I will be right back. So I just plugged in a flash drive, and if I just push the reset button up here, you will see I now have two new highlighted buttons right here on the video. So the first one is a start and a stop, and then you have a camera to take stills. Now, so far, I hate to say this, but the camera doesn't seem to want to take a JPEG that I can see. So I'm not sure what the problem is. I sent that information back to Ivan, and I should hopefully put that, I'll probably put that in the comments if I get this out before he gets back to me. But I also have the camera starting point. Now, if you are interested in just video, and the reason why I would do this would be like a B-roll. I don't need the audio, I just need video. You can plug in a flash drive or plug in an SSD and just record audio and video. If you notice, I do have a microphone on my cap here. And what I'm doing with that is I'm running that through the receiver is actually plugged into the mic in on the K600N. So that is actually attached over there. Now you're not getting that sound yet. So what I'm going to do now is using my A10 Mini Extreme, I'm going to turn off this mic, and I'm going to turn this mic on so that you then hear it coming through there. And it is coming through the mic in. I've also used it through the line in, and so I'm trying something new here with it coming through the mic, and I can make more adjustments this way because it's coming through a bit hotter than it would otherwise. So I'm going to bring it in through the NDI first. So as I bring this in through NDI, and I'm going to bring down both sounds here so that you can hear the difference. So I'm going to add in the NDI camera. And you can now hear me coming in through NDI and through the mic at the same time. So I'm going to turn off the microphone. And so now what you have is video coming through the A10 Mini Extreme with through NDI with the audio also. So the audio and video are coming through simultaneously through the NDI. Now I'm going to turn that off, switch over to my HDMI, and turn on HDMI, turn off NDI. And you can see that they are slightly different there, but now we have video and audio coming through the same HDMI cable simultaneously, and that's what's being recorded here. Now if I turn on my normal mic, turn on this mic here, which is coming through the audio mixer, it's also being delayed a little bit in the A10 Mini Extreme. Let's take a sound check and see if this is something that can mix also. So I'm turning them both on, and there's a slight delay or a slight difference in both of those. So something you got to be very careful of is this situation right here. Now the thing is, I don't have to have any other audio on in order for this to record the audio that's coming through there. And now we're back to my normal coming through the audio mixer, or through the through our mixer and then into the A10 Mini Extreme, and it just works. So that's something that is really neat. That works with, like I said, a thumb drive, U drive, whatever you want to call that. Works with an SSD drive. Again, make sure you format it as exFAT. Right now, it's the only way it's been working for me. I did want to talk about how do you bring in that recording. So I'm going to stop the recording. Oh, here we go. I'm going to stop the recording. Okay, so now I have that recorded, saved. How do you get to that? Well, the other thing that shows up when you plug in a memory device is this button right here called record. If you go to there and you go to the record file, you'll see that there are, in this case, two files. One is the record file, which is this one right here. This is the video file, and here is that picture that I took right here. The problem is, while it's 1 megabyte, I've been having problems actually looking at that. The other thing is, I'm going to go back here to settings on the recording. You can set this up as MP4 or as TS formats, and they work either way. My problem is the MP4 isn't allowing me to see it either, and I've used that in Microsoft's media player. I've also used that in TLC or a VLC media player, and MP4 doesn't seem to want to show up in either one of those. So I'm not sure what's going on with the MP4 recording. And again, I've sent that to Ivan to track down for me, but it does work really nicely in TS. And so that works out really well. You can also set it up as a loop recording, and I'm assuming that means it'll just simply record over itself. The other thing you can do down here is hit format, and it should format that flash drive. What I've discovered is whatever was on there to begin with, so if you have NTFS format on there, it will reformat it as NTFS. So it doesn't change the format, it just reformats it. If you want it to be exFAT, put it in your computer, reformat as exFAT, and you got it. So I can go over here to these record files, and I can download those to my computer. So you can come here and hit download, and you can see it downloading. Now this is the funny thing that starts because of what it's doing. I have to hit keep. Otherwise, it doesn't recognize the camera as a secure location for it to download from. So just hit the keep. If you hit something else, it'll give you another warning, and you can choose it there. So it'll take a few moments for me to download this, and again, it's going to download it basically through the network. So there it is, and then I can click on it. So that I am now recording everything I'm doing, and you can see that it now just has the off button. So you can probably hear it here. Let me see if I can switch this over. Take a picture, and it comes. You can see that there's got a little bit coming in. That it's recording, and it's recording. So I got to crank it up a little bit. Coming through here on that camera. So if I use a different camera, it's going to still record what's on that camera. So this is a way that you can record. However, it's working. So if you do have a and the audio's there. Bring that back down a little bit. One of the ways you can bring this all in is through here. You don't have to go to the back of the camera in order to bring the flash drive off of there. So you can have this on the wall. You can download it directly through the interface, and you're good to go. So enjoy your recording on the camera itself. It's a pretty special way to do it. So those were some of the things that I just wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, share, hit that bell so that you're notified whenever a new video comes out. And I appreciate your watching my videos. And again, God bless and have a great day.